Welcome back to Trojan Sports Now, and with basketball season just right around the corner this week, we're going to talk with women's head coach Mike Murphy. Coach, thanks for joining us here this week.
Thank you.
Well, Coach, as I said, just right around the corner, you've been practicing for about a month now. What are your thoughts?
So far, we're really excited. The kids come to show up and work hard every day. Our situation is different from men's basketball. Everyone's used to the October 15th date as being opening day of basketball. Well, in women's basketball, last year they changed it. I can count back 40 days from my first official game, which is November 13th. So I started practice October 4th. So we've got about 6 weeks of practice before our first game. A little different, gives you more time on the court. It's great for teaching. I don't know if the kids like it quite so much because it is a lot of practice and we're looking to play somebody. We want to hit somebody besides ourselves. But so far, so good. The kids work hard. They're great to be around, and we just can't wait for the first game of the season.
All right, now talk about some of your players you got coming back. I know Dee Sword was named preseason All-Sun Belt, so it's got to be good to have her come back. But you're losing some big names too, like a Donette McNair. So how do you replace her?
Well, McNair was an all-conference performer. From Connecticut. She received her degree, which is a big deal. First one in her family to go to college and receive a degree. As I said, she was all-conference, 1,200 some odd points, 800 plus career rebounds. And I was asked that question in the preseason teleconference for the Sun Belt, and someone said, how do you replace her points? And I'm not concerned about the points as I am the rebounds. Because rebound is nothing but hard work, and the only way you have to go and get the ball is by moving your feet. So we have to rebound by committee this year, where I thought last year she could do it on her own. But D'Angela Sword is a senior from Montgomery. She's a terrific student athlete. She's great in the classroom. She's great on the basketball court, and I think that's been rewarded by being preseason all-conference. She'll be our main scoring threat. She's really good off the dribble. She can hit the long ball as well. And one thing I'm really pleased about this year is she's working extremely hard in practice, and she's being a true leader. You know, a lot of people talk the talk, but she walks the walk. So we're really fortunate to have her. Another key to the success of this year's team will be Sophie Kleeman. She's our returning point guard. She'll be a junior. She's a 2-year starter. If we can keep her healthy and on the floor, you know, I think she really gives a command presence on the court and helps, you know, straighten us out when things get a little hairy. And
it's always good to have a point guard that's got some experience because they're kind of the quarterback of the team.
They really are, and that's something you can't teach. You know, experience is you have to learn it. And unfortunately, with learning, sometimes it's tough lessons learned. So to have a point guard with experience that is extremely intelligent, has a high basketball IQ, it really helps your basketball team because they're a coach on the floor. In practice, I can stop things and tell them what to do and show them where they need to be. But in a game, we don't have that luxury. You know, we're very limited as coaches what we can do in games. So the players you have on the floor, especially from that lead guard position, they have to be the one that takes control of situations. Or somebody does, at least, of the 5 you have on the floor. And she's able to do that. And we're grateful to have her.
Well, what about any newcomers this year? Anybody that looks to step in and take a big role?
2 incoming freshmen I'm really looking forward to have an impact on the program. Rosie Hines, who's from London, England. She played on their 18 and under national team. Wow. She's got a lot of international experience. She's got great basketball IQ. She understands how the game should be played. She'll be able to give Sophie some rest. Last year in 16 conference games, Sophie played all but 3 minutes.
Wow.
And I don't care who you are. You know, you could be Superman. It's going to take a toll on your body. Or Wonder Woman in this case. It's going to take a toll on your body. And she'll be able to spot Sophie at the point guard position, which will allow Sophie to play some 2. Rosie can also play some 2. We basically run a motion offense, so it really doesn't matter. But Sophie's, like I said, has a very high, Rosie has a very high basketball IQ, and she'll be able to sub in for Soph at that lead guard position and give us a presence on the floor. The other one is Coco Coleman, and she is going to do a great job for us. She's from Mississippi. She went to T.H. Byers High School, won 3 state championships, was a state-level cross-country runner. She's 5'9½", 5'10", very versatile, can play inside, outside, and has had a lot of success in high school, understands what goes into winning. So I look for those 2 freshmen to come in and have an immediate impact on our program.
Well, you mentioned Rosie from England. You've always been known for having an international presence, or at least for the last few years, mostly some Australian players. Do we still have some people from down under?
Well, we do. Sarah McCapian is coming off of injury. She's had 2 ankle surgeries over the last 18 months. Sarah is a tremendous basketball player. She has tremendous presence on the floor. The kids really respect her work ethic, and she's been trying to fight through this injury with her rehab and recovery. She's been able to get on the floor a little bit in the preseason. We still have a ways to go. If we can get her healthy or get her close to 90%, she can have an impact. She's our best 3-point shooter, shoots almost 40% from the 3-point line. She's a very heady kid, understands the game, understands situations, and we really missed her We missed her presence on and off the court last year. So if we can get her back close to healthy, we'll be really happy with that. And she can have an impact. Irva Naj is a sophomore, redshirt sophomore. Had some ups and downs as a freshman, once again going back to that experience factor, learning some tough lessons, which she did. She's come back and is in great shape. She's working extremely hard, and as a sophomore, I think she could have a breakout year for us because of her size. She's got some versatility as to who she can guard, and she's really good off the bounce and trying to score from that mid-range jump shot, which is something you don't see. So we're looking for her to have a big year.
All right, let's take a look at your schedule. You open up at home, which has got to be promising against Winthrop. Just talk about that game to the season opener.
Well, it's great to open up at home. This will be my 10th year here at Troy. It's our second home opener. So, and I understand everybody's got that problem here. So I'm not, you know, crying wolf here in the theater. So it's great to open up a home against Winthrop. It's homecoming weekend. We're hoping to have a great crowd. The game's at 1 o'clock. It's a doubleheader with the men. We play at 1. The men play at 4. So it's nice to open up at home against an opponent. Then we go to Furman later on in the week. And then we're home again against Belhaven Thanksgiving week, and we go to Maine Thanksgiving weekend, and that's a tournament we're looking forward to playing.
We'll talk a little bit about that tournament. You all have done tournaments the past several years, and you've got to go to some good places, New York, Washington, but this time you're going to be going to Maine for a different type of tournament.
Well, all the years I've been involved in women's basketball, the Maine tournament is something everybody's wanted to do, no matter where you're at. All the years I was at Alabama, you know, we tried to get to Maine, and they've got a variety of teams that play in that tournament, from the SEC, the ACC, the Big East, even the West Coast. Some Pac-10 teams have gone to that tournament. They do a great job, the local folk do a great job in supporting the tournament. Games are generally sold out, are close to being sold out. You get a host family. They put on a Thanksgiving feast that's second to none, from what I've been told, and our girls like to eat. You know, thank you very much for the new cafeteria, because they're enjoying that a great deal, maybe a little bit too much. But they really get behind the tournament, and it's a different, you know, we live in the South, so we're used to the warm weather and the bright sunshine, so we're going to get a chance to see some snow. Hopefully no more than about 6 or 7 feet, and hopefully you know, the temperature won't be so cold that the cars will start. But everyone tells me it's a great tournament, and it's got great atmosphere. When I was coaching men's basketball, I had a chance to go to Alaska 3 different times, and the kids weren't real excited about it when they heard Alaska, but once they got up there, it's someplace they probably wouldn't have gone on their own.
Right.
And once they had a chance to see it and experience, I think they were grateful for the opportunity, and a lot of kids who I stay in contact with talk about that tournament. I think we'll get the same thing off the Maine tournament.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Sun Belt. Troy picked to finish last in the East Division, but I mean, that kind of is some motivation for your team and can be used for that. But what about the rest of the
well, it is, and you know, preseason polls, I really could care less
right.
where you start. It's where you finish that matters. And you know, we lost a very dominant player in Danette last year, but I think we've got other people who will step in and fill those roles. The league this year is a little bit more wide open from 2nd to 10th. I think Middle Tennessee is by far the prohibitive favorite. They've got the player of the year. They've got the most dominant balance. They've got the most dominant depth in terms of basketball. And I think they're clearly head and shoulders above everybody else. I think Arkansas Little Rock, who for the last 3 years has been very dominant, lost a very good player, lost some very good players who were starters since their freshman year. They lost 3 kids like that. So I think they're going to slide back a little bit. I think Western Kentucky is a little bit of an unknown. They lost Erica Brown, who was a post player who was very dominant. So I think 2 through 10 is somewhat wide open, but I think the prohibitive favorite is going to be Middle Tennessee because of their depth, their experience, and they do have the preseason player of the year. Okay.
Last thing I want to talk to you about is the final season at Sartain Hall. It's got to be kind of exciting for you. I know you've probably had some good times there, but looking forward to playing at the new Trojan Arena.
Yes, Sartain Hall is a beautiful building, and we'll be happy to see it go. I mean, no, really, it's a great home environment. Right. But there are other things that the new facility is going to offer that will allow us to enhance and expand our program. Right. The practice court in terms of teaching. And I think coaching is all about teaching. The practice court will allow us to do that. You know, having more than 2 goals will be a huge factor when it comes time to break down your offense. So from a teaching aspect, the practice court, the weight room, the video room, all of that will have an immediate impact on our program. Now you throw into that the competition court with the 5,000 seats, the scoreboard, the ribbon, the Hall of Fame, the way they're doing the building. It's going to be first class, and I think it'll be a building that we can really showcase in terms of recruiting. Right. And that is no different from all the other buildings on campus. I mean, what they've done with the cafeteria has had a huge impact on our student athletes, which means it'll have a huge impact on our recruits.
Right.
I mean, what's ever good for the general student is good for the student athlete. The dormitories, Trojan Village, the quad, the Hawkins Education Building, all of this will have a huge impact in recruiting. The missing piece of the puzzle was the arena. And we'll be very grateful to get into that building ASAP.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck on the upcoming season.
Thank you, and go Troy.
And stay tuned for what's coming up this week in Troy Sports.
Trojan Sports Now.